whilst I didn't have a particularly strong father figure growing up, or a father figure at all, to be honest, it doesn't mean that I can't be the man that I'd want my son to be.
Hello everyone, I'm Mark Tuxford and welcome to my podcast, People Behind Brands. Brought to you by Making Websites Better. In each episode, I'm joined by an inspirational guest to hear more about their individual life lessons and how it shaped them into who they are today. To never miss an episode, subscribe to our exclusive content now and follow us on our social media platforms. People Behind Brands, life lessons from the world of business. In this powerful and deeply personal episode, we sit down with Kyle McGill, a financial planner at Amber River, whose story is anything but ordinary. Kyle opens up about his challenging childhood, growing up with an alcoholic mother, no father figure, and the emotional scars that followed her passing. Far from letting his past define him, Kyle shares how it became the fuel that drives his relentless pursuit of growth, not just professionally, but as a father, a man, and a human being. Now raising his 2-year-old son with his ever-supporting wife, Kyle reflects on the lessons he's learned, the values he's building his life around, and the mindset that keeps him never satisfied, always pushing to be better in every area of his life. This episode is about resilience, fatherhood, and the quiet daily grind of becoming the person you needed when you were younger. If you've ever struggled with your past, or you're on a journey of personal growth, this one will hit home.
Okay, Kyle, welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
Yeah, excellent, Mark. Thanks for having me on.
No worries. Where can we find you today then?
Sitting in Billericay today at home, so typical Friday afternoon. Going to be relaxing a little bit more here and doing a bit of admin.
Excellent. So yeah, today we welcome Kyle McGill, a chartered financial planner from Amber River. I regularly bump into Kyle at many networking events across the Essex area, where he has carved out a trusted and well-respected reputation in planning your financial future. Kyle joins us as we delve deeper into his life lessons, which have provided a profound backstory to the man he is today. So let's go to the first question, Kyle. So perhaps you firstly like to tell us a little bit more about Amber River and the services that you provide.
Yeah, I'm happy to. So Amber River is what is called an independent financial advice firm. But how we are a little bit different, instead of being led by products, for example, being focused on pensions, for example, we're more interested in the goals and clients' ambitions and what they're looking to achieve and worry about. So I often get asked, should I have a pension? I don't know. What do you want a pension for? Well, I'm wanting to retire. Now we're getting somewhere. I want understanding what they're wanting to do in retirement, and then we align what the solution is for them.
So in terms of your own career journey so far, talk to us about your setup at Amber River and how previous roles have led you onto this path today.
Well, it's been a bit of a winding path. So I've done all sorts. So I've been a youth worker, I've been a postman, I've been a professional musician, and then I moved to London and started working in a bank. And it turns out I was pretty good at it. A key thing being working with people, I think, and then I moved on to private banking before getting qualified as an advisor, and then moving on to give advice. And then latterly, I joined Amber River in September 2023 because I wanted to do a broader range from cradle to grave, sort of financial planning, and do everything and all that in between.
So I think I probably am guilty of thinking this as well, is that obviously I thought you were owner of the business, but it sounds like you've joined the company. So what is that kind of set up at Amber River?
So we have an overarching structure, and it's like a franchise model across the country. So there are lots of different Amber Rivers around the country, which are owned by a central office in the city. And the idea is that we buy leading individual independent financial advice firms and amalgamate them and have centre of excellences across the country. So we've bought 3 firms. We're buying another one end of this month. Well, buying another 2 end of this month that are amalgamating into our business. And the intent behind it is I run it like a self-employed business, but I don't have the conflict of being self-employed.
Yep.
I am an employed advisor whereby my salary is met. But the mentality is, as you say, we go networking, we try to build the business ourselves and have that ownership of that, which is a bit of the best of both worlds, in my opinion.
Yeah. So, I mean, typically, what type of individuals are you supporting when it comes to financial planning? I mean, what does that best outcome look like for you when dealing with that client?
So I tend to deal with the more complex, multifaceted plans, which is something I really enjoy, and I like facing into it. I've also carved out a little bit of niche when it comes to business owners, having this self-employed mindset and being entrepreneurial, which one of our values is what kind of drives me to work better with them.
Yeah.
And it's looking at all the hard work that people put into their businesses and making sure that they're getting the most out of their business as well, and it's supporting them with the lifestyle they want to achieve. Often I find with business owners that they put their heart and soul into the company, but I think it should be a two-way street, that the business should also be giving back what they need from that.
Yeah.
So
What position are those business owners at when they come to you?
I've got different stages. So I've got some that are, for example, a property investment company, who are quite a large scale, and they've got a lot of properties between that, and they're in the 50s and 60s, and they've inherited it from their parents. So there's been a lot of generational planning with that, and making sure assets are moved over, inheritance tax, all that good stuff, right through to somebody who's just starting out in their business, and looking from the startup aspect of there, where we can help them, guide them, and give them the advice at that stage to grow their business. So one of our goals is from startup to exit. It is where we go into. I tend though to focus more towards the exit stage and when they're a little bit larger.
So moving on to some questions more about you as a person rather so much about business. I mean, what would you say is your mission in life for in and out of the business, really?
I've got lots of different crusades that I often go off on, but I generally do love helping people.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the key drivers for me, is that the sort of self-fulfillment. It goes back to that Friends episode, doesn't it, where there's no such thing as a selfless act.
Yeah.
I really get a sense of happiness from helping people. So I'm trustee for 2 charities. Just last night I was on the call to somebody in Yorkshire to go about how setting up their charity. I think since my son was born, though, my number one priority is to ensure he doesn't have the life I had growing up.
Yeah.
And I help to make him into a good person is possibly the key thing.
Yeah. So I suppose touching upon your kind of backstory now. I mean, our podcast is founded upon honesty and how testing times have impacted our lives. So away from business, can you tell us about a challenging time in your life that made you who you are today?
Yeah, so my upbringing wasn't particularly traditional, shall we say. So my mum was an alcoholic. She had unstable relationships. I've never met my father. Typically, we had empty fridges. We're very low income. So through my early childhood and my teenage years, it was tougher than I'd expect. But whether it's healthy or not, and you might need to dig up Freud himself to understand how I am. One of the key things from that is I don't make excuses about it. Just because I had some challenges growing up doesn't give me the excuse not to work hard or divert away from not working for the best interest of helping other people. And that's the self-fulfillment that I get from that, of helping other people and seeing people along that journey.
Yeah. So how do you think those experiences, obviously with, a lack of parent support, I suppose, how do you think that's really impacted you today? I mean, obviously that's through your childhood and then, coming into being a parent yourself. I mean, how do you feel that's impacted your life overall?
It's taught me what not to do, I think. Bless my mum. Like I said, she had a heart of gold, don't get me wrong. But how she interacted with relationships with other people is something that I'm very conscious of. I wanted open, communicative, not as a sniping or anything like that. And whilst I didn't have a particularly strong father figure growing up, or a father figure at all, to be honest, it doesn't mean that I can't be the man that I'd want my son to be, or to set the standard that I would hope he becomes to be as a good person. So I think there've been a couple of things alongside that which have hindered my career, being honest. And one is that because of that mindset, I set incredibly high standards. And I've been accused, I know quite rightly, that I measure other people by them standards. And that manifests itself as imposter syndrome and things like that. And so that's one of the challenges, that because I've had this upbringing, I've now set myself a standard which I find hard to achieve because I don't want my son and my family to ever go through that lifestyle, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. So what would you explain I suppose your own sort of parent relationship at the moment? Obviously, you've got those sort of high standards. You want the best for your son moving forward as well. But how do you think that you're a lot different to your parents and you being a parent yourself?
I think it's very early stages as well.
Yeah.
So it's 2-year-old. So I'm hoping that I'm going to be a good dad. And the biggest fear that I'm not going to be a good dad. And what I do about that is, for one, I try to spend quite a bit of time with my son. I get advice from my clients saying, I wish I spent more time with my family when they were growing up. And actually, I could take their advice and do something about that.
Yeah.
And I think time and spending quality time with my son Ewan is possibly one of the key things for that, and not being fobbed off to do other things or go to the pub and not really spend time as a family. Yeah.
You mentioned earlier just about a fear of not being a good dad. Why do you say that's a fear?
I think it's just growing up with the fear of the unknown. Like you don't have a particularly strong father figure, so what am I benchmarking it against? And that's again a common theme where setting standards. But I think there's sort of I was talking to a mentor about it, which I'm sure we'll come on to, but I was talking about it, like, how do you measure what good is?
Yeah.
And that's an excellent question. I think it's that innate feeling that my son, he now runs up to me and daddy, daddy, daddy. And there's that sort of bond and love there, which is massively fulfilling. It gives me that warm sense. And the little buggers change your life, don't they?
So in terms of your motivation, obviously it's very much clearly your son moving forward and all that sort of stuff. But in terms of being successful, whether that's, in your personal life, business aspects and all that sort of stuff, what do you see as your motivation?
It's a great question. I think it's going to be something I'm still learning, and the motivation aspect is getting up and wanting to do more. Not just sitting still with the status quo. The wife often says to me, like, are you ever going to be satisfied? No, I don't think I ever will be. And it's that drive to get up and do more, which is one of the things that drives me. That's the reason I get out of bed. I want to do more, I want to help more, I want to be better tomorrow than I am today. Yeah. Where I possibly can.
So how much of an impact does that side of things and your motivation and your sort of passion, really, which is coming through in this interview, how does that sort of affect your family life with Amber River, and obviously looking after your son? But you mentioned your wife, who you saying going through your past experiences, she must be massively supportive to you, and obviously bringing up your son as well.
Yeah, and I think there's an old adage that behind every good man there's a greater woman.
Yeah.
I think that my wife, she has always got my back, which I'm very lucky for. So she is really supportive, not just inside of work and family, but also outside of work. But because of my drive and the fulfillment I get from doing other things with my charity work, she is really supportive of that. And she is a very patient woman. For how it is. And Amber River the reason I chose Amber River is that they are not sort of a company which is going, right, you need to do 10 appointments a week, and get all through these. As long as I hit my goals and expectations, fine. I'm not going to be micromanaging you, which doesn't really work for me. And that gives me the flexibility and the importance to come home and have bath time with my son.
Yeah.
So if I need to log on in the evening, fine. But I have the autonomy to do that, and that's what a company I want to work for should be doing.
Yeah, it sounds like you really want to be present as much as you possibly can with your son growing up, and yeah, I don't blame you personally.
And it's I was talking to one of my other clients, Paul, and he was saying that we had a good conversation. So, well, the work we do, whilst important, gives meaning to the family lifestyle, and you want to do something which is enhancing not just your wallet first and foremost, but also your life to make you do better at things outside of work. That's really, really powerful coming from him and his experience. I'm relatively young, and I give advice to clients often twice my age.
Mm.
And all of this life experience I can draw from as well, whilst I help them manage their finances and their money. So it's a really privileged position that I get this free advice from clients as well, about how to manage it.
Do you ever look back on, what you've been through and feel a sense of pride in a way? Because I feel like listening to you today, you've gone through quite a lot in your life, and you are successful. You've got, it's not even successful from a monetary value, a business value, but also from a family level now as well. So do you give yourself that sort of time to look back and think, I've done all right here?
Well, firstly, thank you, and secondly, no. And this is one of the things that I'm working a lot on with my mentor, who's a wonderful guy, Stu Cater. He is my mentor, and one of my secrets to success through my working life is having mentorship. Who's helped me through different stages. And one of the things that Stu's really working with me on is understanding where I am in my career and my life, and making sure that I don't miss out and see the value in what I'm doing. And I don't think he realizes how much he helps me with that. Yeah. And that naturally has a profound impact on my business, wanting to make sure that there's meaning to the business and communicating value about what we do. But pride, because I've set that standard, and this is one of my foils, that I've never achieved what I want to achieve, which is quite a tricky thing to manage, and something that I do struggle with, in perfect honesty. Don't get me wrong, I could toot my own horn all day long, but it's looking back and going, there's still more to do.
Yeah.
It is one of the key aspects of it.
Yeah, definitely. So in terms of kind of hobbies, interests, certainly ways to take your mind off business, and obviously maybe looking after your son as well. But what are your hobbies and interests for your life?
So one of the key things is Round Table, which is a national charity for young men between the ages of 18 and 45, and it has two aspects to it. So you've got a social club and a charity within that, and the social club is, I moved to a new area in Billericay where my wife grew up, and how do you make friends in your 30s? Well, join Round Table, I said. Great idea. So joined them, and that's given me so much opportunity to meet new people, have a bit of banter with the lads and stuff like that, and feel like part of a broader community. Yeah. And it helps me run events. So this year we're putting on fireworks in Billericay, where we expect 15,000 people to turn up.
Oh, nice.
I drive a desk all day.
Yeah.
When do you get an opportunity to put on an event for that many people? I'm working with the lads to do so, and we call it messing up with friends. And just trying new things, driving it, and having a support network with it. And last year we raised just over £50,000 that we give out to local good causes, and seeing money go in. We give out some money earlier this week to a young lad who's developed cerebral palsy and will never be able to run, but actually he could run with a splint. So we bought a splint for him so he could be able to run. How powerful is that, to go for a 4-year-old to be able to run?
Yeah.
Take for granted. And now my father is such a soft touch with anything that it comes to there. So, but it's such an amazing thing to do this with your friends, and then give money away as well. That's the thing that's my real passion outside of work, and that keeps me very busy. Yeah,
and I think that's a real testament to you. Your experiences are actually helping to make others better. It could go a completely different way, but you've gone down the right path in the sense that you always look to give back, I suppose, and commend you for it. So gets into the interesting bit, Kyle. A little trivia before the end of the episode where we talk about some of your most favorite things in a quick fire round.
Okay.
So first question, favorite food?
Lasagna.
Nice. Favorite alcoholic beverage?
Ooh, I'm a cider drinker, and particularly Katie. She's a lovely girl, the Katie Apple.
Favorite band or artist from the world of music?
Stephen Wilson.
Okay, I've never heard of him.
Yeah, so I saw him on Monday doing a live show. He's a prog rock musician.
Okay.
He's been around for decades. Love him.
Favorite TV program or film?
Suits.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, the law firm, something I aspire to be, but with a little less charisma and charm.
Yeah. Dare I ask you your thoughts on Meghan Markle?
She was excellent in the thing. She was Yeah, aside from the politics and all that sort of stuff, I'm a better actress.
Yeah. Have you got a favourite film?
I really like Shawshank Redemption. I think the music's great, the story. Morgan Freeman, who doesn't love Morgan Freeman?
Yeah. Favourite place in the world or holiday destination?
I love Italy. I think it's a wonderful place to drive through.
Yeah, great food, great place. Yeah, good people as well, actually. Favourite famous person?
Ooh.
So you don't have to have met them.
No, I've not met many famous people actually, but I really like Simon Sinek. I think he talks a lot of sense. When I'm looking for something to either inspire me or motivate me, he's the person I go to.
Yeah. Biggest pet peeve?
Rudeness. I can't abide it.
Yeah. Any superstitions?
No, my wife's got more than enough superstitions for the both of us. So,
Favourite memory of your life?
I think it was when I was sitting down with my son. He was about 8 months old. He's going on 2 now, and I was just throwing him up in the air and catching him, and he was starting to giggle and really come to life. I always find throwing the kids up in the air, the risk to reward ratio is probably not quite there, but he loved it.
Yeah. What would you say is your biggest achievement so far?
Finding a woman to marry me.
Yeah. Yeah, same.
Yeah.
What inspires you on a daily basis?
I think it's the sort of mantras I have about not making excuses. When the going gets tough, the tough get going. And that's the sort of thing that keeps me getting up and wanting to do so.
Yeah. Best piece of advice you've ever been given?
Oof. The one that stands out to me, I was in one of my first jobs as a musician, and it said, Kyle, you know what? All you've got to do is be nice. Wow, that's profound. And it's one of the things that I've had throughout. Like, well, can I just be a bit nicer when I'm doing anything or writing an email or anything like that? Just be nice. Yeah.
Yes, valid. Last question. 3 guests you would invite to a dinner party and why?
Oh, okay. So Guthrie Govan, in my opinion, the world's best guitarist and a really interesting guy. Barack Obama, I think he'll be a good laugh after a few pints. And I'm sure he's got some stories to tell. And Jimmy Carr, I see him all over the place on YouTube at the moment, and I think he'll mix it up a little bit. I think that'll be a fun dinner party. Yeah, it would. Yeah, good dinner party. Look, Cole, it's been a real pleasure to have you on today's episode. I really appreciate you opening up about certain aspects of your life, and as I say, I really commend you for where you are today. So I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have today with this episode. But lastly, perhaps you'd like to tell everyone where our listeners can find you and how they can benefit from your service moving forward. Yeah, so if you go onto the Amber River website, I'll just put Kyle McGill Amber River. You'll go through to see my bio and a little bit more about what I do, or wherever you are in the country, there's different Amber River offices around there. I'm predominantly on LinkedIn. I post every now and again. So Kyle McGill, I'm the good-looking one on there. And then I cover Essex, really, for my advice, and a little bit further afield around there. But I live in Billericay. Excellent. Thanks, Carl. Join us next time for a brand new guest as we continue with more life lessons from the world of business.
So that's it for this episode of People Behind Brands. If you like what you heard today, do yourself a favour. Subscribe to our exclusive content now and follow us on our social media when you search People Behind Brands podcast or at podcast PBB. Join us next time for a brand new guest as we explore more life lessons from the world of business. We'll see you soon. Ta-da!